Alright guys, season 2, episode 4 of the Spoken Podcast. I am here today with Nick Connolly from Connolly & Co. PTY LTD, which we will discuss a little bit later on as well, which is fantastic. Mate, thank you for having me in your shop.
Hey, no problem. I guess it's a long time coming.
100%.
We have gone back and forth and trying to find a time that we're both available. And
we are terrible.
Yeah.
We are both terrible, aren't we? It's just too busy. And we've just gone, nope. I've even turned up with a sinus infection in case everyone's like, what the hell is wrong with his voice? But no, honestly, mate, I know things are changing. We were just talking about, obviously, your business hours and stuff like that as well, which is fantastic. So thank you so much for having me here. Now, to do our little icebreaker, we've changed it up today. Instead of the 5 songs, we've gone for...
Yeah, well, to be honest, I don't really listen to music. I find music is more of a mood.
Yeah.
You know, so I can't give you 5 songs.
Yeah.
Because I guess, you know, like moods change and, you
100%.
know, different music, I guess it's a bit of a vibe. But for me, it's, I'd say books.
Yeah,
you know?
cool.
I like to read and listen to books. So I've got a few books that, like, I feel will help, you know, guys who are kind of getting into, I guess, if you want to get into that hustle vibe, but also that kind of like that mindset of not just being a barber and not just working 9 to 5. The first one that I personally was the one that I listened to and read was The Alchemist.
Yeah,
You know?
cool.
The Alchemist was basically you can achieve anything you want to do in your life and there's no limitations. And then there's another book called The Richest Man in Babylon. That's a story about a slave who becomes basically like a king. And in his adventures, he talks about basically the principle of money. And basically, he always says, you know, make sure you pay yourself first. You know, and then there's another book, Think and Grow Rich. And that basically is what you say and what you think is what you are and what you do. So basically, if you keep telling yourself you're poor, you're sick, you're broke, you're struggling, guess what's going to happen? You're going to be poor, sick, and you're going to struggle. The fourth book, I guess it's How to Win Friends and Influences. You know, so basically that book is about people, you know, people skills. If you want to attract the right people, then you've got to be this similar kind of person. And I guess another book of mine was it's called Mastery, and basically it's mastering like your talents and niching yourself. So, for example, there are a lot of barbers out there, and I wanted to capture the barbers, the clients with beards. So hence why my logo is me with my glasses and a big beard. And also what I wrote down the bottom of my cards is male stylist / beardologist. So that kind of that there, just by writing beardologist, basically I attract 80% of my clients have beards.
Yeah.
Now that also comes with my prices being $10, $15 more because they're also getting a haircut and a beard, which also adds beard products, beard balms, beard oils, beard shampoos, beard conditioners. So you've also automatically got another add-on, another service. So that book's called Mastery.
Interesting.
So yeah, so they're probably my 5 books that just on top of my head. I haven't.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
They're really interesting. I mean, a couple of them even flicked for me there, especially the Pay Yourself First. Very, very interesting. I think we might have to put a little link in here, Pete, about those books and stuff like that so people can get into them. That's one thing I've started doing this year is reading more books. Definitely try into.
I find the concept reading, it's not about reading the book. It's actually trying to find time to yourself to sit down.
Absolutely.
Because we're constantly trying to multitask. We're trying to do 4 or 5 things at once, but then we end up doing half-assed things, and then we forget what we're doing. So basically, reading a book, it's not about reading the book. It's about finding the time to sit down and concentrate on one thing at a time. So, when you're reading a book, you can't text, you can't watch TV.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't run. You've literally got to sit your ass down and concentrate on a book. Now, sometimes people say, we've got no time in the day, or, I'm too busy. Well, I guess if you take out the 2-3 hours a night you're watching TV and you sit down and read a book, even just do chapter by chapter, what I used to find, I used to read a book in between my ads if I was watching TV. And then I slowly started reading, I'll do 5 pages a night. Don't put too much pressure on yourself by reading the book. The book is not a race. The book might take you 3 months. To be honest, when I started hairdressing, it took me 6 years to get qualified, and it's a 4-year apprenticeship. So I didn't give up. I've got reading and writing difficulties. I used to have a reader-writer help me out through high school. I don't understand the questions when I'm reading. So I found for me, it was all about explaining. If you explain how to do something, when you show me how to do something, I will pick it up straight away. But if you tell me to read the question, I won't understand what the question means.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I feel it's not a race,
Yeah, that's a very good point, actually, because the classic excuse is, isn't it? It's always like, I don't have enough time. But I think I definitely had the mindset. I don't know if this is from school or not, but it was like if I had a book, I had to read it like then.
Well, yeah, and let's be honest, books in high school, it wasn't us to choose.
Yeah, exactly.
I always thought that I hated reading books, but it was because I wasn't reading the books that I wanted to read.
Yeah.
It was storybooks, and I don't like storybooks. Personally, I'd rather watch a movie.
Yeah.
I want to watch entertainment, but when I'm reading a book, it's about knowledge. It's about understanding. How it's wisdom.
Yeah.
You're literally reading the words. For me, it's more like like Tony Robbins, or more like there's a John C. Maxwell. He talks about the 12 values of life, and how to be a leader. There's Simon Sinek. Like the question is why.
Yeah, exactly.
Or another book, Why Leaders Eat Last. These are the books I like to read, because I'm learning, and I feel like if I'm learning, then I'm more interested in the book.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah.
Absolutely. That's very interesting. That's good. That's a good icebreaker, Nick. That's a great icebreaker. I love that. People are going to be like, ooh, I never would have thought that. I reckon that's very interesting.
Well, let's be honest. Being a barber is not about cutting hair. It's a business.
Yeah.
And it's a customer service business. So, I can teach a monkey how to cut hair. It's not hard. It's about angles, But to actually get your client to fall in love with you and you giving a shit, and it's about customer service. It's not about how long the haircut takes. It's how your client feels when they leave your barbershop.
Love it.
Yeah.
So I have a good thing to cut to that as well. So when I first met Nick, which I told you last time,
yeah,
which is hilarious. So I first met Nick a long time ago when I had very long hair, slicked back. My brother, who I've mentioned on here before, Rob, he always used to say to me, he was like, oh, let's go and see the sexy guy who cuts our hair, right? Which was Nick. So I remember getting my hair cut from Nick, and it was very much like you were the only place open on a Sunday.
Yeah.
And it was just yourself in the shop.
Yay, me.
I know. Living the dream. And we used to drive about 30 minutes to get our hair cut from you, which at the time I thought, like, what the hell are we driving 30 minutes for? But you used to cut our hair perfectly, and it was just like, oh yeah, we'll go there. It always felt like, do you want a beer? Do you want this? Do you want that? Like, the service and everything was really like, and that's why we remembered. And I kept on. I remember you saying to me, you were like, oh, you should open up a barber college, because we had the hair college at the time. And I was like, I don't know, we don't really know that many people in barbering, blah, 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 and stuff like this. 2 years later,
Boom.
We owned a barber college. And then we connected again, which was hilarious. So,
and it was just by fate.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool.
So funny. But obviously, Nick's had Josh come through us as well. His certificate's up on the wall, which is amazing. I love that. And yeah, he's absolutely smashing it as well in store. So we'll go back. Tell us how you got into this amazing industry, mate. Tell us how you got into the hair industry.
Okay, it's very interesting. So it started when I was 17. 17, I was, this is in New Zealand. New Zealand, Christchurch. I was sitting down and I was having coffee with my mates. There's like 3 of us mates. Now this is the true story, and there's no judgment here. So we were opposite a hair salon, a hairdressing academy, and it must have been their lunchtime. And it was like 60 girls just walking out, and they were hot. 60 hot chicks just walking out of this academy, hairdressing academy. And I said to my mate, "What's that?" He goes, "Oh, it's the hairdressing academy." And they're all the students here. And I said, "I'm going to go there, eh? I'm signing out to be a hairdresser, eh?" I said, because, look at those women, they're stunning, So I went there and I signed up the next day. And I said to the teachers, "I don't know how to cut hair." And they said, "And that's why you're here."
Yeah.
And that was kind of dawned on me. Like, I kind of clicked, you're right. Like, sometimes we initially want to do something, but we don't know how to do it. And that's why we do courses, and that's why you learn and study to understand how it works. So long story short, I was a hairdresser for about 10 years, and I worked in my first job was actually in this real high, I'd say, boutique salon. Now, it was in town. I went up to them and I said, "Hey, can I get a job here?" And they said, "Oh, you've got any experience?" I'm like, "No, I'm just learning to be a hairdresser. This academy." And I said, probably like 2 months into it. It was like a 9-month course. They said, "Come back when you finish your course." So I was kind of gutted because we needed to get experience in a salon. So I went back a week later and I said, "How about I work volunteer after my course?" So they had a late night and they also worked Saturdays. So they worked Tuesday to Saturday. Late night was 9 to 9 on a Thursday. So every Thursday I would come straight away after my course. It took me about 20 minutes to get there, and I would work till close. And then I would work Saturdays for free. I did that for 9 months. And then obviously with them training me up and taking me on their work tours and building a rapport with the staff and the boss and the clients, they weren't going to turn me down afterwards. So then I got a full-time job straight away after my course. And this is one of the I'd say one of the best salons in New Zealand. We won awards for Weller. We did I basically learned all my kind of custom skills in the shop. We learned how to do catwalks, big weddings, fashion shows, but also had fun at work. And we all each appreciated each and every one of our stylists. We're all kind of different, and we all bring different things to the team. So I found like that was a great start off. I was
going to say, what a learning curve, you know what I mean? What a place to learn. Yeah. That's amazing.
I got chucked into to a salon where I was the youngest, most tattooist boy. I was 17, 18. And I was dealing with clients who were like 30, 40, 50, 60 years old. And these guys were like judges, All Blacks, Black Caps. Their wives were, renowned. They're pretty. This is like elite kind of clients going to this. And this is like 17 years ago, charging like $50 for a men's cut, and like $120 for a woman's cut. This is like the starting point. So that was my standard. I didn't know any less. So it was utmost, customer service. Because if you're paying big money, you expect, that kind of customer service.
Absolutely.
So like if clients are waiting for a colour, they were getting a cheese board platter and a glass of wine, and that's how that's basically how I learned, and that was my starting point.
That's amazing. Here's a question for you. Say, for example, you never would have got your volunteer work there and you went into another salon. Do you think we'd be sitting here?
I don't think so. Because the standard, and for me, I was surrounded by makeup artists, fashion designers. I travelled around New Zealand. I was in magazines for L'Oreal, Kerastars. Like, the limit was there was no limitation to what you could do being a hairdresser or a barber. When you're a hairdresser and you walk into a fashion show, you're pretty high up there. Like you're with the fashion designers, you're with the makeup artists, And the funny thing is, when I was younger, I'd always assume that the models were the ones who are top, but they're just the canvas.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and it really opened my eyes up to a world that I was never in. You know, just with the fashion, and it's amazing. So I don't know. I never lowered my standard.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm grateful where I worked, but to be honest, I wouldn't have got that job if I didn't sacrifice a bit of my time too.
That's what I was going to say. Exactly. Yeah. It's like you put yourself in that position.
Yeah,
you know
I
mean?
wanted
it.
And instead of just going, well, then I'll wait till end my course, I said, no, well, I'll give you a bit of me if you give me a bit of you, you know?
Absolutely.
And that's what it takes, you know?
Yeah.
If you want to kind of achieve, you know, sometimes you got to sacrifice a bit of yourself.
Yeah.
You know, but you got to think big picture. If I didn't work there, I wouldn't be where I am today. You know, like the standard.
Yeah, I love that.
I said.
That's cool. It's very interesting, isn't it? Like, because as you said, the amount of people who probably would have gone, sweet, I can't be arsed then.
Yeah.
And they would have just panned in their course, everything. They would have just gone, nah, don't worry about it. It's like, I'm done. Yeah, I think I can relate to that a lot, Nick. Like, I went to a hair festival 3 weeks ago, I think it was, and I was like blown away. I was like, yeah, okay, this is why we're in this industry. Yeah. Like, I was like, wow.
It's fun.
Oh, so fun.
Yeah.
I was like, it's wild, and probably why I'm still recovering. But yeah, it was absolutely amazing. And I was like, how cool. Like you were saying, like the catwalk, the fashion around it, like the actual skill on people as well. And like you said, you're surrounding yourself with people like that. So it's only going to reflect on you as well, isn't it?
Well,
so
I give props to my boss back home. She's my mentor, and basically she would take us to these events, fashion shows, any seminars about teaching or like growing as a person in the art of barbering or hairdressing. You know, she would pay for it. She wouldn't question it.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, I want to learn, you know, balayage. There was a L'Oreal doing a course in balayage. She would pay for it. You know, over the years, she probably spent a good 15 grand on me. With upskilling who I am today. You know, she would literally take us on retreats. We had 20 staff, and she would take us on like a 2-night retreat, like team bonding experiences. You know, like a company was called Fire and Ice. And this is in New Zealand, and literally like it still gets me this day on. Like when you have like different staff in your team, you know, like. You should appreciate each and every one of them, because they all bring something that you might not have.
Yeah, absolutely.
Into the team.
Absolutely. I mean, I think you will see this, but I can definitely see that reflected in your team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it now makes sense what you're telling me about how you started. I'm like, oh yeah, this makes complete sense as to why this is working so well. Yeah. You know what I mean? So that's awesome. So when did you transition from hair into kind of men's styling?
Okay, so that's another funny story. So I was in a salon.
Yeah.
And I was the only guy. 20 girls, me. We had a gay guy, but for me, he still had that kind of like, the feminine aspects. So I was the straight male in the salon. And I gravitated to a lot of the men clients, Now, being in a salon, and let's be honest, if you're in a salon, men are only there to fill in the gaps with all the colours. But I seen a niche. In there that, this is like, 15 years ago. There were no barbershops around. They were, but they were all old men who were cutting. And there was no money. They were charging like $15 a haircut. We were charging like 50, for men's cut. So I keep getting all these men clients in. And I was like, well, I'm not going to be able to hit my bonuses and stuff. And, men back then were booking in every 6 to 8, 10 weeks.
Yeah.
So what I came up with the idea with, I said to them, how about I do an upkeep service? So if you come back within 3 to 4 weeks, in between your haircut, we'll do a half price haircut. And that will just be the lineups and just a big tidy up. It would take me about 15 minutes to do. So these guys are, hey, I'm keen to come in and just get the touch up around the neck and do the sideburns. So they started booking in between like 4 weeks. So then gradually my clientele got bigger and bigger because the guys keep coming in more often and more often. And then literally I was getting booked out 2-3 weeks in advance with just men's cuts because they wanted to come in for that maintenance haircut in between.
Yeah, it's crazy.
They thought they were, like they're obviously their haircut's looking better. Instead of dragging out 6 to 8 weeks,
Yeah.
they were coming in every 2-3 weeks
Very
for that
interesting.
maintenance.
Very, very interesting, that is.
Yeah.
I love that. That's
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah. So
Like,
that's why I assumed that. And then I knew that there needed to be more of a niche with men. Like we were going to these salons getting haircuts, but the women weren't understanding of what we wanted. Like I feel like some of the women were just like, it's just a men's cut, next. But for us guys, we struggle to kind of tell a woman how we want our hair to look because we don't want to sound too cocky or too arrogant, But I like that. I like when a guy tells me, man, I want like this, because that makes my job easier.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
know what he wants.
Yeah.
So I have the most fussiest clients in Gold Coast. I'm saying Australia. I have guys who come in weekly. Guys who come in weekly who pay $50 a haircut. They come in every week. So a lot of my clients come in fortnightly or every 3 weeks. But yeah, most of them come in, I would say 10 days.
Yeah.
And so for me, getting into the barbering side of things, I actually got allergic to all the colours in hairdressing. So the chemicals, I got a reaction and I was put in hospital. And my doctors said to me, you can't continue hairdressing because it's going to kill you because I got chemical poisoning.
Wow.
Yeah, so I had to literally stop hairdressing, but I wanted to maintain that kind of service, that upbeat, high-end service. So I started, I wanted to learn the art of barbering. At the start, I was like a lot of hairdressers, like barbering is pretty easy, like just cut hair and stuff. But then I actually learned the art of, like the bone structure, the face shape, the hair density, like the fades, different techniques. And then I really fell in love with barbering. And it's funny because we look at barbering as such a tough, manly kind of fucking industry, covered in tats, like big beards. But in the day, we're fucking playing with a grown-ass man's hair.
Yeah.
And you can literally break down their layers and their walls by just asking them questions about how their day is and how you feel. And a lot of these clients, I guess they come back to me all the time because they're kind of self-reflecting themselves in the mirror. I'm asking the questions and they're literally talking to themselves in the mirror and actually answering them. So
Yeah.
I find the cut is one aspect of barbering.
Yep.
But it comes down to actually being a friend and actually, they look forward to getting a haircut. We might cut hair every day, but for them, they've waited 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks. And sometimes they just want to be heard and other times they just need a fresh start.
One thing I know I'm finding a lot now is I think a lot of successful barbers have come from hairdressing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if it's because, like we spoke about before we started the podcast, whether it is that salon environment, it's the respect for the products, your clients, because that is literally the money coming in. Like, that's the business, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like you're bang on. And it's not necessarily because they're hairdressers that they're better than barbers. I feel like it takes 4 years. And, the first couple of years, you don't even get to touch clippers or scissors when you're hairdressing. You're literally sweeping the floors and you're washing hair. And you have to earn the right to have your own clientele. And also, I find if in the barbering world, if you're an apprentice, you would struggle a lot to find someone to mentor you. Because in the barbering world, you only make money when you're cutting hair.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So a lot of these mentors, a lot of these barbers don't want to take on an apprentice because you're not going to be making money for them, and then their time is taken away trying to teach you. So I find in hairdressing it's a bit easier because if you're an apprentice, well, you've got like 5 or 6 stylists who need clients hair washed, or you're doing perms, or you're doing colours. So there's a lot more things that apprentice can do for the stylist to make money. But in the barbering world, you can't really assist the barber to, can I put product in your client's hair?
Exactly.
Can I wash your client's hair? You can check them out, like at the end of the service, but that's basically it. So if you want to become, I find like a better stylist, like a better barber, like what I look in when I'm looking at staff, or even a new apprentice, they tell me, oh, I've always wanted to be a barber. You know, I ask them, so what have you done, you know, to make yourself like if you enjoy it, like do you go on YouTube? Have you bought a pair of clippers? Have you started cutting your friend's hair? If you haven't done any of those steps and you've just basically jumped into a course to see if you like it, tells me that you're not using your initiative and you're willing to just go, oh, well, you know, I'll do a course first. Well, what if you do the course and you don't like it?
Yeah, exactly. 100%. 100%.
Yeah. So that's what I look into when I'm looking at hiring apprentices. And I feel like, you know, like anyone out there can be an amazing barber, but you just got to think of it. It's not a job. It's a lifestyle. You know, like I used to work with many barbers in the past, and I used to run Tommy Guns. I've ran a lot of barbershops, and the one thing that, you know, that I've noticed, a lot of these barbers are talking about what they've done on the weekends, or they're waiting for the next break, or they're talking amongst themselves and not actually the client themselves. The client's the one who's paying your wage, you know, and if you keep looking forward to the weekend, well, the days is going to drag on. So you could literally, you know, make friends with your clients, get them back more often, talk to them about their weekend, and actually add them on social media, get to know what they're doing in their life, so then you can conversate when they come in about, hey, that was an awesome wedding you went to. Oh, I just seen you you proposed to your wife, to your fiance. Great. Oh, how was your holiday? Oh, you just had a kid. You know, actually get to know your clientele, and it won't feel like work. It'll feel like having a chat to your mate.
It's also vice versa, isn't it? Like the client will go, oh, geez, I know he's flat out and he's taking time out of his day to go on. Like, oh yeah, I seen you had this on the weekend, or you did this and this and this. Like, I know some people may think like, I haven't got enough time to scroll through social media and stuff like that, but geez, it makes a difference when they're in the chair.
It does. Like, I don't know the biggest flex on social media, and especially Instagram, why people don't follow other people. It's like they're the big flex of they follow no one.
Yeah.
But everyone follows me. It's like, how is it a fucking flex? Like, what is your page like?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
What's your feed like? Is it just empty?
100%.
Like we like to follow our clients on our socials, like Connolly and Co Barbers, because it's our clients that are the ones who are making it entertaining for us.
Absolutely.
We're understanding what they're doing, and they're seeing what we're doing. You know, like that's how it should be.
Well, I really like it from, I mean, obviously the Barber Academy page and the Hair Academy page, which we follow. I love seeing what the shops and the salons are doing.
Yep.
Because I'm like, especially as like, I can come in here and go like, oh yeah, I love how the feedback on the jumpers and stuff like that. Like something you didn't brag about or anything. You wore it to the gym once and then everyone's like, can I buy that?
Yeah.
Like,
I literally was wore at the gym and people are like, where do I get one of those jerseys? And I was like, what do you mean? Like, this is my work one. And they're like, I want one. And I'm like, okay. And then literally, like, I think 3 days I posted, hey, hoodies are available. Like, we got 20 orders in one day. And then people are like, do you do hats and t-shirts? I'm like, I'm a barbershop, not a retail store. And they said, well, you know, get some hats in.
Yeah.
So we got 10 hats in, and they got sold within like 2 days. And I've actually got like, you know, so now we start doing pre-orders.
Yeah.
I've got people harassing me like, when's your hoodie in? When's the t-shirts back in? When's the caps in?
I love it.
And I'm like, man, I've got 85 clients a week.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
trying to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it comes down to community and support.
Yeah.
And the guys don't even bat an eyelid of how much. Not one client's asked me how much it costs. They said, just put on my tab.
Yeah.
You know?
100%. It's very interesting, that one, because we've done apparel since we've started the Barber Academy. And it's like, people go, oh, you must make a fortune off that. And I'm like, nah, I make that purely because people have asked for it. And it's like, it's cool. I wear it.
Yep,
like,
same.
That's what same. It is. Yeah.
It's
so it's
comfortable.
like, exactly.
And I feel like some people do things for the wrong reason. Like, they'll have poor quality t-shirts and mark them up just to sell to make money.
Yeah.
You know, for me, the hoodies and the t-shirts and the hats are good quality products because I wear them myself.
Yeah, exactly.
And I literally designed them for me.
Yeah.
I didn't want some cheap, flimsy, t-shirt or some hat,
100%.
And I guess the logo represents community. And the funny thing is, when I've had clients see other clients out at the gym or in public, and they'll just say, "Hey, man,
Yeah.
you got a Connolly and Co." I'm like, yeah. So do I.
I love that.
Yeah, because all our products and our hair products or our t-shirts or our apparel, it's all in store. We don't have an online shop.
Yeah, exactly.
So basically, anyone who's wearing one of our hoodies and wearing a hat or t-shirt, they're a client of ours.
Yeah.
And
that's really cool.
Yeah.
That is actually really cool. Yeah, interesting. Here's one completely off. Literally off the top of my head.
I've got it.
What's your thoughts on the industry at the moment?
Oh, okay. So my thoughts in the industry right now, I bite my tongue a lot because I see a lot of barbers who try to be rock stars, and they forgot the core value and principle of being a barber. It's not about you. It's about your client. You want your clients to feel amazing in your chair. You are there to serve them. I'm looking at a lot of these barbers' Instagram pages, and all I'm seeing is haircuts. Yes, we know you're a barber and we know you can cut hair and you can do a fade. But tell me the story about the client and why do they decide to get their haircut, or tell me something about the shop. Or when a client comes and checks your page, how do they know that you two are going to get along? There's nothing telling me about you, telling me about your story. You're just showing us about, I can do this fade, I can do this haircut. And it's like, so what? What kind of person are you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because the person you are will attract certain clientele. And if you're all about just the fade and the lineup, fuck, that gets boring after the 20th haircut I've seen scroll down.
100%. Just another skin fade.
Yeah. Yep. It's not about that. Like, yes, hair grows back and we cut it and it grows back. But it's about like, I like to, our business page, we like to show, people, new clients and existing clients, what the shop's all about and what we're doing and about the barbers and the people. We have all ages. We have our few fair share of kids cuts, new kids. We have adults, teenagers. We have the elderly. Like, our range of clientele is not just niched on the teen to 20-year-olds, because let's be honest, they don't have the money to come in every 2 weeks. We have the clients in our shop, and it's all community. We focus on locals because the thing is, we just hit a pandemic, and a lot of the barbers who are hitting the tourism, well, they all closed down because they had no tourism. I focus more on locals and people around my community. I don't need the whole population of Gold Coast. I just need the 1% of people around my area, and that's how we kind of can build a clientele. It's not about what other barbers are doing. It's about what we're kind of delivering to our clientele. So I feel like the industry right now, it's kind of just jumped like 5 or 6 steps. And because there wasn't really a market in barbering and there weren't as many barbershops around like 6-7 years ago. So then those barbershops they went gangbusters because there wasn't an option. But now I'm finding that there are so many barbers opening up their own barbershops, trying to flex their own barbershop, where they should be trying to teach and mentor other guys like themselves to be a barber. And, and if we all work together, you'd find it'll actually be a bit more fun. Everyone's kind of right now, it's just like no man's land, and fuck, it's just like, we're bagging people or we're talking shit about other barbers. We're putting our prices up, but the customer service has dropped dramatically. I go to barbershops and I pretend I'm just a client, and I bite my tongue and some of the stuff I've seen or heard. I've sat down in a waiting area, not even been welcomed for like 15 minutes. And then by the time I go, hey, can I get a haircut? The guy rudely says, sorry, mate, we're fully booked. oh, that's awesome, great, mate. You could have told me that when I walked in.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just crazy. Like, we have an option of like appointments, but we also do walk-ins. We have a lot of clients who come in and they, oh, I thought this was walk-ins. I'm like, well, we are a walk-in barbershop, but we're fully booked because the people book in.
Yeah.
You know, like, but we do offer walk-ins. But sorry right now, but our barbers are fully booked. But sometimes we try and squeeze them in, or sometimes we'll stay late. You know, there are many times that I come and work early to fit in my clients in there because they're going away or they're flying out or it's a special day. You know, like, you don't have to just work the hours that you work. You can bend over backwards for clients, and I guarantee it will come back to you.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing, Nick. That is exactly the thing, because a lot of people will go, oh, fuck, I'm doing this many hours. But like what you said, it comes back, doesn't it? That client will go, when you go, I'm going away, they'll go, yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
I remember you did that for me.
Yep.
So, yeah, 100%. I'm a big believer in karma. So
Yeah.
I think that's definitely it. It's funny you mentioned about like the industry and a lot of people bitching about each other and stuff like that. See, I was introduced to hairdressing that way. Like, a lot of people told me hairdressers were like that. My mum, obviously, with her experience. And that was the one thing I loved about barbering when I first started 6 years ago. Nobody did it.
No,
there was no backstabbing, nothing.
It was cool. Everyone was doing their own thing.
100%. It was like, if your shop was busy, they'd go, hey, man, sorry, I'm flat out. I think actually you did that to me one Sunday. You were like, look, I'm flat out. The only shop I know on the coast, which is also open today, they're over here. They'll look after you. Sweet. Not like, don't go there. They'll fuck your hair. Don't go there. They're shit. He's shit. Oh, he never learned off so-and-so and stuff like that. And I really hope it's trying to change, man. I really hope.
I don't know if other barbers and other barbershops do that, but what we do, for example, sometimes we're flat out and I'll see Josh struggling. He's got he's running a bit behind and he's got 2 clients waiting for him. And if I've got a free spot, I'll step in and I'll go up to his client. I'm like, hey, mate, Josh is running a bit behind. Come grab a seat. I'm going to do your hair for you. So I'll cut his hair and I'll charge him the same price as Josh charges. Just because, you know, it's not about the money. It's about helping Josh out. And I hope other barbers do that. But I don't really see that going on often. You know, like, we literally share each other's clients. Like, if someone else is running behind, the other team will step up and will, hey, you know, Mac or Josh or we're running a bit behind. Would you mind going to one of them, or do you want to wait? And it's up to them. Sometimes they want to wait. That's cool. We don't mind, but we just want to help and give the client the option of not. Maybe they got a meeting or somewhere they got to go. So sometimes, like, mate, actually, I need to go in about 45 minutes. I'll jump on with you. Yeah. But if they don't, then there's no bad blood. We don't mind.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's so frustrating because I just find that common sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and it's so normal for you as well. I know we've spoken about this so many times before. I really hope it's changing, because I think a lot of people think that about education, especially, has that. Not just barbering or hair. It's like, it's always been, even when I used to teach fitness, not that you can tell that I used to do that, but back when I used to teach fitness.
There's pizza in my mouth.
What's the best machine in the gym? Vending machine. So yeah, it was like, and it always used to be the other colleges would bitch about other colleges and stuff like that. I hate that.
Yeah.
I hate that. And I'm really like, it's funny when people ask me about another college and I'm like, oh yeah, sweet, I know the owner. Go and speak to them, blah, blah, blah. And they kind of look at me as if to go like, oh, why would you do that? And I'm like, oh, there's plenty. How many people are on the Gold Coast? Yeah. Like, how many people are in Brisbane and stuff like that? Exactly what you said about you just want to work in your community.
Yeah. If you can offer, like, I'm guessing, like, you know, as much as you can, and you can do as much as you do and help, then I have no problem recommending a client somewhere else, because I've got that most confidence that I've done nothing wrong.
Yeah.
That they're going to find no flaw in me. So I wouldn't even care if a barbershop opened right next to me. It doesn't bother me, because I am that confident when you come see us that you won't want to leave.
Yeah.
So, you know, and I find, like, people who are confident with their business and know that they're on their core values, or they're aligned with their purpose, they're not worried about any other barbershop or salon or academy, because they know what they deliver is, like, you know, is 100% customer service.
I mean, a very wise person once told me, Mac doesn't worry about what Windows do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
100%.
And I always say that to everyone. It's like the moment when you start going, oh, I wonder what they're doing, blah, 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 takes away from this.
Yeah. And literally, like, I worked in a garage for like 2.5 years to build up a clientele. And I had a bit of a sense of insecurity. Like, it was hot. We had no aircon. I was in a silk garage. But I didn't realize, like, no one cared.
Yeah.
All my clients loved coming in.
Yeah.
I've got clients who prefer the garage to my shop. Like, I miss the garage days. Yeah. And I'm like, what? We have aircon. It's like 10 times bigger than the garage.
100%.
But I guess, when we were young, like, guys, like, our first parties were in the garage.
Yeah.
Drinking beer, listening to music.
100%.
And I feel like when I started off working in the garage, it wasn't about that. It was just trying to build a clientele up. And instead, it was like I was doing half the street and half the neighborhood.
Yeah.
The amount of people who would beep, who would drive past.
I love it.
It was pretty cool. Yeah. And a lot of people now go, oh, you're that guy from Miami, opposite the Miami Primary School.
Yeah.
In the garage. I'm like, yeah, it's me. Like,
yeah.
I was wondering where you went. I was like, well, here I am.
Yeah, no, here I am, guys.
Got a shot,
I love it. It's such a cool story. I mean, that was one of the reasons why I really wanted to do this podcast with you, because I don't know. And again, I say this all the time when I do podcasts with people. It's like, I still don't think people understand that the kind of like the grind that you went through. You know what I mean?
Well, I'll tell you, this is how I got here. And we'll do this real quick.
Yeah.
Okay. So I started out, when I first moved here 7 years ago, I was working in a few shops. Started in Broadbeach, and then I ended up getting an opportunity to work at Tommy Guns. So I was the head barber, and I was in charge of training the staff up. So it was brand new. We just opened up the Pack Fair, and I was working Tuesday to Saturday, and I was flat stick. Like, I was new here on the coast. I trained up all the staff. Now, mind you, they're all females. I had to train all female ex-hairdressers to be barbers. So that was a challenge on its own, teaching them how to cut throat and doing fades. I had 2 weeks to train them up before we opened up the shop. What I did, any quiet time we had in the shop when we first opened up, I would go around and I would say hello to all the staff working in Pack Fair. Now, because those are the people who are there every day. So, we weren't looking at tourism. I was looking at the people who worked in the mall, okay? So what happened, I initially got busy and busier and busier. By about 6 to 9 months later, I was a 2 to 3 hour wait to see me at Tommy Guns. I was burnt out, working 5 days a week, and I wasn't enjoying it anymore. So I talked to my boss. He owned 5 of the shops, and I said to him, now, if I can make you the same amount of money in 4 days than 5, I want to be paid for 5 days. Now, he looked at me and goes, well, if you can make me the same amount of money that you make in 5 days and 4 days, I'll happily pay you for 5 days. So then I switched up my tactics. I started working the busy days at work, and I worked 4 days. So I sacrificed my weekends. So I would work Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And they are the 4 busiest days that I found in the shopping centre, which meant that I was constantly busy. But that meant I was getting paid time and a half on Saturday and double time on Sunday. So then I was still making the same amount of money working 4 days than 5. So initially, working 4 days a week, it actually gave me a bit of time for myself. So I had Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday off. So, 2 days is great to have off, but having 3, that is a game changer. So that third day, I started reading books. I started thinking about being an entrepreneur, a business. So I was doing some haircuts after work, doing some cash. That made me save some money up. So on a Wednesday, I started working from home. So I started telling my mates, hey, instead of coming to your house after work, how about you come to my house on a Wednesday? So give me, 2 months, and that Wednesday was booked up. So I started getting busier and busier on Wednesdays. So I told my boss at Tommy Guns, hey, now I'm getting pretty busy working from home. Now, how about I just do 3 days here and I'm going to start working from home. Now, I wasn't stealing any clients from Tommy Guns. I was only doing my friends and people and I openly told them that I was working from home. I wasn't telling my clients at Tommy Guns.
Yeah.
Okay? So then what I started doing, I told my boss, I'm going to leave in about 2-3 months. So if you want to take all my knowledge and everything out of me, let me work the quiet days. So he goes, well, we need to build up our quiet days. So then I started working Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday at Tommy Guns. Now these are the quiet days, but I built up the team and I started showing them what I was, basically how to build a clientele up. So basically I'd offer people from home Thursday, Friday, Saturday, from home. So then I started working at Tommy Guns Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and I was working at home Wednesday nights, Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. Now, within 3-4 months, I got so busy that I got offered a job at TAFE. TAFE found out. So then TAFE wanted me to work at, teaching. So they literally created me a job at TAFE, and I started working at TAFE 3 days a week, and working at Tommy Guns. But I was also working from home after work. Now, I burnt myself out. I did that for 6 months because I was thinking the more work I'm doing, the more money I'm making, crazy. But then I lost touch with my partner. I started burning myself out. I started hating the industry so much. And it comes to a point that I just cracked and I just quit everything. I quit Tommy Guns, I quit TAFE, and then I started focusing on what I like doing, and that was cutting hair from home. So I told everyone, I'm going full-time from home, and I'm going to back myself up. So initially, it was pretty scary, but the thing is, basically, how I got to that point of being so busy is while I was working part-time at home and part-time at Tommy Guns, a client once asked me, when are you going to go full-time at home? I said, when I get busier. And he goes, well, when's that?
Yeah.
What's your number? And then I said to him, well, I need to pay rent and I need to, my expenses. He goes to me, work out how much money you need to make a week to go full-time from home. Ended up being 25 clients a week I needed to make from home. So within 2-3 months, I started tracking how many clients I was getting in a week. Now, within a month or two, I started getting like 10, 15, 20. 3 months later, I was getting 25 clients a week. Now, that could cover my rent, groceries, and a few bills. So that was when the point when I quit all my jobs.
Yeah.
And then I literally started working from home. And basically, I worked from home doing 3 days a week. Now, I only offered 3 days a week, so I wasn't spreading myself out thin. Once those 3 days were booked up, I would offer another day, and so on, till I was working 4 days a week. And then I got to the point that I started doing 5 days a week. Now, within 2.5 years, I got to the point I was too busy. And then I realized if I go on holiday, I don't get paid. So it was hard. You don't pay yourself holiday pay.
Yeah.
So basically what I did, I was like, well, in order to get a bit of freedom, I need to get a shop. Now, this was the perfect time for me, but a lot of people were keeping their money close. This was like 2020. Basically, Corona hit. A lot of barbershops closed down. A lot of retail closed down because they had no foot traffic. They had no tourism. But I focused on locals. I had all my neighborhood. And fortunately, I was essential. I was a barber. I had no staff. And basically, I could work one-on-one with the client. So basically, I looked at shops, and the shop that I found now, well, this was empty for 7 months previous, because the person in here before me had shut down because of COVID. So I swept this under, and I had tradies all help me out, and we built a shop. And then I got the rent like so cheap because it was empty for 7 months.
I was gonna say,
yeah. And basically now I've got a 4-year contract, and I'm gonna buy the building. I've been offered if I want to buy the shop now. So I'm in that position now that I'm actually, instead of leasing, I'm gonna purchase my first shop.
So going on.
So present. So I didn't know initially what I was getting myself into. I've never fitted out a barbershop. I've never had my own staff or employed my own staff. It was all learning curves. But I wouldn't change a thing. You know, like, who would really do a fit out in December 2020? Holy shit. I got the keys December 1st, 2020. And I was like, yeah, I've got the keys. And I had to do a rebuild of the whole shop. I had to find materials.
Yeah.
I had to find tradies to do it. Because everyone's on holiday.
I was going to say, everyone, especially tradies.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that. Sometimes it's good to be naive and not know things.
Yeah.
Because you learn while you do.
Absolutely.
You know. And then then I got on apprentice. So my mate Josh, he has no experience in barbering at the start, but I knew that he was a gun salesman and he could chat. He was an ex-car dealers. So it wasn't about teaching them okay here. He knew how to talk.
Yeah.
And to be honest, if you want to get clients on your side, if they like you, you can get away with murder.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's so funny to see how far Josh has come as well. Not funny, I don't think is the correct term, but it's amazing. Like, it is actually amazing, honestly.
He's literally doing 40, 50 clients a week.
Yeah.
And he's booked out most days. And he's been cutting for about 13 months.
Yeah.
From not knowing how to cut hair at all till now he's booking in recurring clients.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think that's the difference, Nick. You know what I mean? It's like, and I know you've said this before as well. It's like, yeah, you can say, I can teach you how to cut hair. Not a problem. Because he picked up cutting hair like that. But it's the whole, like, the experience, the products and stuff like that. That has been actually being open and honest with them about your business as well. Like, I know how you go through your numbers and stuff like that. That is amazing. Like, I literally every Saturday, I sit down here with the staff and we crack open a beer and we go through our KPIs. So basically, we go through how many clients we had in the shop, and each individual barber. So we see how many clients they have, how many new clients, how many rebooked, how much gross they produce for the shop, and also retail. Now, we all can see each other's figures. Yeah.
And for me, I'm very open of what they're bringing into the shop to what they're getting paid. Just so they have an understanding of, like, okay, so this is what you're making in the shop, but you don't get paid there because I've got to pay for lease, electricity, products, alcohol, you know, you name it. Like, I pay for everything to help these boys build up.
Yeah.
But it's not about making money right now. You know, this is the investing part.
Absolutely.
You know, I don't want my staff to leave. I want them to be motivated and inspired to hopefully open up their own shops or take on and mentor another barber. You know, like that's what I like doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like teaching.
Yeah.
You know what they say, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. You know, and I feel like, you know, like our team will only expand and get bigger because our barbers aren't leaving, going anywhere.
Yeah.
You know, like as a boss, I don't consider myself a boss. You know, I consider myself the one with the most experience. You know, so I will get down on my knees and I'll scrub my barber chair just like all this staff will. You know, I'll mop the floor.
Yeah.
I'll clean. You know, I'll stay after hours just like these boys do too. You know, like just the other day, Mecca, he was, hey, do you mind if I work half an hour later to cut some more clients here? You don't have to pay him for it. I just want to squeeze them in.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, of course you can. You know, like, he's not even getting paid extra to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
And a lot of you a lot of you barber owners, like, one thing, you know, I would, if you want your staff to stay, you know, have some accountability. You know, like, pay them a wage or give them some security. You know, like, I give these boys a base rate, so then that gives me accountability of trying to fill their time, their appointments in. You know, which this is why I market them on my social media. That's why I spend the money on a website and a bio on each barber. Now, for the barbers, for their accountability, I give them also a monthly commission. So they can make whatever they want to make if they put in the time and the effort. So we're both working together. You know, if they don't hit their bonuses, that's not my problem. You know, like what they say, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink it. So I give these guys a base rate. So they're on a full-time wage every week, but they also can earn a lot more money in bonuses. And that's what we try and do, you know?
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
I reckon it's yeah, I really like what you're doing with the team here, mate. And again, we are very much like, we don't get involved in shops. That's not my forte. Yeah. And it's like, I don't want to be. I know the academy and I know the education side of it, and that's the one thing which and why we're doing the podcast.
We're very
and
similar,
stuff like that.
I think,
Absolutely.
how we think.
Yeah.
And I guess with me, like I'm happily, like when we have other guys on apprentices, I would definitely be going to Barber Academy.
Yeah.
I think it's the principles, but just the fundamental of like, you're not just getting people and push them out next. You know, like I've spoke to a lot of the students who've studied at the Barber Academy, and honestly, none of them feel pushed, rushed. Yeah. You know, sometimes it's on them. Like they finish the course, and you know, and they kind of like, oh, you know, I might like they're so inspired. Once they finish a course of yours, they want to open up a shop.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
It's like, whoa, hold up. You need to do some experience. yeah. Like, whoa. No. I finished a course. I'm going to open a shop. You know, and that's cool.
Yeah.
You know, because a lot of them are so inspired, and you want to keep that flame keep burning.
Yeah.
You know, and inspire them. And for me, it's cool to see, you know, like these barbers will just, you know, like you're kind of giving them a passage, you know, like it's not
Absolutely.
just about cutting hair, work for this guy, and that's it.
Yeah.
You know, like, you know, and I guess I will work closely with you guys because I enjoy that feeling of them achieving.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
I mean, that's why we do it.
It's like proud dad moment.
Exactly. Yeah. It is. It's like even just walking in and seeing Josh's certificate, it's like, fuck yeah, that's sick.
Yeah, it's just flex that.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah. It's really cool. And also, side thing, we have masterclasses coming with Nick as well, which we've been trying to do for so long, but finally it's starting to settle in, especially more around this side of stuff, like that business mental side of thing. Yeah. Like, so
I wanna get barbers out of their headspace of cutting hair and all about like the more cuts, the more money you make, because you will burn out. There's only a certain amount of hours in a day, and if you just concentrate on like squeezing more clients in for more money, you're gonna burn out, or you're gonna hate the industry we're in.
Yeah.
If you just change your tactics, and I will give you some, you know, step by steps, and you know, just how to introduce products, or even upsell, or even rebooking your clients. You know, that can take the pressure off, you know, making money every week.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's heaps of little tricks and trades that, you know, over the 17 years and me working in numerous salons and barbershops. I worked in, you know, chop shops. I worked in boutique, high standard salons. I've worked in, you know, a lot of franchise barbershop salons. I've worked in standalone barbershops. I've worked in mall salons and barbershops. I've done them all, and I picked out every bit of piece of all of them to make my own little shop. You know?
That's exactly what we try and tell the students. I think that might be the cut of what we use for our students, because that's one thing I tell them. It's like, go and try out as much as you can. Yeah. Like, don't like go to a shop every single week, but it's like, try and target what you want to be in. Because that's the thing. It's like I think a lot of them see these like hour and 30-minute cuts, Nick, and they go like, yeah, that's what mine's going to be. But I'm like, well, you got to realize the people who are doing those cuts, they did the 20 minutes in and out. They've done the luxurious salons. They've done everything, and that's what they've built up to, is that. Yeah. So, yeah, that's what we're really trying to get across to them, is like, you've got to do got to do all of these.
Yeah, you have to, because you don't know unless you know. And I talk to a lot of new up-and-coming barbers, and they're just so like, no, this is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And they're already thinking of how they're fitting out their shop and their persona. And it's like, well, if you're dressed in shorts, singlet, and thongs at work, you really think you're going to get the high-end clients?
Yeah.
You know, like, literally, I dress to impress. And, like, who wouldn't feel like a boss getting your haircut from a barber who's dressed in a three-piece suit.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
It's very true.
Yeah,
It is very true.
And I cater to staff. You know, I cater to my clientele. You know, I've got clients who bring in their partners. I'll ask their partners, do you want a drink? Are you comfortable? You know, do I turn off the aircon because it's too cold in here?
Yeah.
You know, like it's not just about me and you coming into my shop and it's like I'm flexing like, hey, you're in my shop now.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's like I'm here to host.
Absolutely.
I want you to feel comfortable in here.
Yeah.
You know, that's what it's about.
Yeah, I love that. All right, one last one. I promise. And then we'll wrap this up. One last one. All right, what is next for Connolly and Co, mate?
What is next? In only 14 months, we've kind of overgrown this. We're trying to add more hours, and I've only got 3 chairs. So the beauty with 3 chairs is we're literally running them at max. So obviously another shop, you know, and we're going to be going, basically we're going to hit New South Wales, you know. We want to hit that end, you know. I'm thinking Coolangatta, Currumbin, you know, Kingscliff, Tugan, Tweed. That's the next spot around there, just so we can kind of get, you know, a bigger audience, and you know, just show them who Connolly & Co is, you know.
I love it.
Yeah,
that's so cool.
And we will be mixing in and collaborating with the Barber Academy as well.
Absolutely,
working very closely with them. I do love their core values and principles, and I would love to, you know, kind of get something going on together.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think we're cool.
Yeah, there's some big things happening.
Yeah.
There's some very big things happening.
Excited.
So, yeah, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Mate, thank you so much for your time.
Awesome.
Honestly, you're a legend, my friend. Thank you so much. Guys, thank you for listening, watching. Nick, how's the best way for the guys to keep on following your story?
If you want to follow us on Instagram, it's called Connolly & Co Barbers.
And Pete will put it across the bottom because he's a legend.
We're located in Robina, in Gold Coast. But yeah, any questions, hit us up. Like just DM or comment on any of our posts, and we will get back to you. I promise you.
Awesome. I love it. Thank you, guys.
Awesome.
Thanks, man.
See
You're a
ya.
legend.
Get on my way.